All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Hope you're doing well. All my LOs out there, we are in a season of change in our business. We go through some difficult years and some amazing years in the mortgage business, and right now we're getting into one of those difficult markets. Rates are rising, not a lot of inventory. And so this is a time when we often see LOs start to make moves to different companies. I think we're going to see a lot of companies close their doors over the next 12 to 18 months. A lot of mortgage companies now are starting to run in the red. And so we're going to see mergers, acquisitions, and just straight up companies closing and LOs needing to jump ship and get to a different organization or make moves for a variety of different reasons. And when I'm talking to loan officers, there's really like four reasons that LOs typically make a move. And we're going to go through each of these, but it's lack of support in operations, lack of support for growing a team, compensation, and technology. And so I get these types of questions a lot of like, what do you think about this company, or should I make a move for A, B, or C reason? And so let's break down each of these. So lack of support in operations. This is like one of the absolute like non-negotiables in the mortgage industry. You have to have tight operations, period. If you're not getting loans done quickly, you are going to die. And I spent the first 7.5 years of my career at a bank. I had to leave that bank because it was just so difficult to close loans on time. That's the number one killer to somebody's business. When you can close on time, you can ask your clients for referrals, generate repeat business and referrals from the clients you're already doing deals for, and you get an exponential growth in your business. Operations, you also have to have the right people, the right players in the management roles within operations. When you don't have underwriting managers who understand the importance of the sales team, then there's always tension. And I've been at companies where that's the case, where operations management almost looks at sales like with like a jealous eye, because sales is the highest compensated group within a mortgage company, and sales can be demanding, and sales wants it now. But that's why we're in sales. Because we are hustlers and we're going out and we're bringing in the business, and we need to get it done and provide a great experience when we do. And so sales, especially in the mortgage industry, is the lifeblood of the organization. I mean, if a mortgage company, mortgage companies aren't that valuable when they're sold because there's not a lot of tangible assets to a mortgage company. The assets are the sales team and the top originators who bring in the business. Without them, there's no revenue coming in, literally. So a lot of mortgage companies, and I've been at one where they don't understand the importance of sales. They don't appreciate sales. They actually even kind of like look at sales as overcompensated and like an afterthought to the organization, completely missing the fact that they have no business without sales bringing it in. So, like here at Cross Country Mortgage, where I'm at, the group that we work with in operations and especially the management team, they get it. And they're here to support us and help us get these deals done. And there's very open lines of communication, not only with underwriting management, but with underwriters themselves. And then turn times are held to a super high standard, 24, 48 hours max, docs out 24 hours or less every time. And you have to have that dependability to be able to get deals done on time and be able to set expectations properly when you're talking to referral partners and clients on, yes, we can get this deal done, or no, we can't get it done. And then you want to know that the operations team, they're not going to add all kinds of like feel good conditions and extra conditions that we don't need. We had a file the other day, the underwriter, it was her last test case file. And it's a clean deal. And she added a bunch of conditions on the loan because it's a test case file, and she's just over conditioning it to be careful. So all it took was one email to our underwriting manager. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is a test case for her. No worries. I'll clear all those conditions." That's what you want, because you're gonna have underwriters who add conditions at times, and they don't need to be on there. And you're never going to stop that at the underwriter level. I mean, I've been in this 16 years, and I've never seen a staff of underwriters where every single one doesn't add conditions. You always have a few of those underwriters who want to add every little document in there as part of the approval. And if you've got the management team there who gets it, then they can talk to the underwriter and get those things waived and help you sort it out. So it's the management team that's the most important part when you're looking at what does good operations look like and feel like and how does it work. Now, the other side of that too, this is something that I've worked really hard on in my business, and I think that it's something that loan officers need to have an honest look in the mirror when they're thinking about this. Are you submitting good files? Because if you submit bad files into underwriting, it doesn't matter how good operations is. Those files are going to suck and they're going to be painful and they're not going to close on time. And the best operations team in the world isn't going to get those deals done on time because you're sending in loans that shouldn't be sent in to begin with. You're pre-qualifying buyers who have no business buying a home, or you're pre-qualifying people who aren't ready to buy a home. And so that is super important if you want to be a high-level originator, because every time we have a deal that turns into a nightmare or it has trouble closing because we made a mistake originating it up front, what happens? We have to focus all of our time on getting that loan done. It takes 10 times the number of hours to get it done that a regular deal should take to get done. And it's always because we made some kind of mistake at origination. It's rare that it's not a mistake at origination and something else that comes up. But sometimes things do come up, and we get that all the time. Appraisal issues or title issues, those kinds of things. Those happen. But when you're thinking about operations, if you have a really good operations team, you will get the most out of it if you do a really good job of operations up front. So be honest with yourself about that. Get processes in place. I've put together some really tight checklists and CYA emails that we have that go out to all of our borrowers. We now do pre-underwriting up front on every pre-qual. So when we pre-underwrite a pre-qual up front, we can tell the seller when our borrower is submitting an offer that they've been fully underwritten and approved, and we have an on-time closing guarantee where we guarantee to the seller we'll close that transaction on time. Otherwise, we pay the seller $5,000. So we not only are very careful and thorough up front, we're taking that next step of getting the loan underwritten and approved for a stronger offer. Let's go to number 2, lack of support for growing a team. So over my career, I've been fortunate to be ranked in the top 0.25% of loan officers nationwide, top 0.5% and 1% for a number of years. And the single biggest game changer to getting to that higher level was building a team. There's just so much to do in our industry. It's crazy how much it takes to close loans. It's just a lot of effort. And it's even more effort to go out and get those loans. So as a loan officer, our job is to go get the loans and to make sure the loans are closing. So as a solo loan officer, you can do up to 5-6 loans a month solo. And then beyond that, if you want to close 7 or 8 loans a month, you need a full-time assistant, period. And a lot of companies don't understand that. And I've been at a company that didn't get that. Just LOs are overpaid. They're not working hard enough, blah, 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 blah. They're not understanding that if you're really spending time out prospecting for business, you need that support at that level on your team to allow you enough time to go out and get the business. So, here we operate under 1 full-time staff member per every 6 loans that you're doing, and you scale it as your production increases. And, within my office, I like to see us a little bit overstaffed so that there's capacity for growth. If you're already at max capacity with your staffing levels, then you don't have any room to grow. So you've always got to be a little bit overstaffed as long as you're growing. If you're stagnant, then you should be staffed at max staffing levels. So when you're growing, keep it overstaffed a little bit, and then you've got that slack to be able to build and add more loans. So a lot of companies just don't get that. And I first started my team in 2017. And once I hired my first team member, I doubled my income 3 years in a row, 3 consecutive years in a row. And by that point, I had 3 full-time staff members on my team. So you need a company that's got your back and the support to be able to build and then scale your leads by having support to help close the loans. Compensation, that's the third one. A lot of crazy compensation plans out there. I know I've seen several that are not great. I've been a part of some of them. Tiered compensation plans, not a fan of that. I think loan officers, if whatever number of deals you bring in, the company is still generating the same amount of revenue on each of those deals. So you should not be paid less for doing less deals because the same amount of revenue is coming in. Now we want to see LOs here who are doing good production. We don't have one or two a loan month, 1 to 2 loans per month LOs here. Like, this is a company where we have LOs doing really good production, high producers, building teams, originating at a very high level. So not to say that someone doing 1 or 2 loans a month should just go along in perpetuity getting full compensation, but tiered compensation plans, I think, are a complete killer, and it's misleading in terms of how much money you're actually making, because you've got to average out what you're making in each tier to have a good idea of what your total compensation is. It's amazing to me how many times when I talk to a loan officer, they don't understand how much they're actually making. They think that they're making X number of basis points, but then when you start to peel it back, they're not actually making that amount after expenses and doing certain loans for less compensation and so on and so forth. So as a loan officer, you need to take a look at your last year's production, your net taxable income, net taxable, and divide that into your total volume for that year. So net taxable income into your total volume, that percentage is what you made in basis points, period. That's it. So do that calculation and see what you're at from a compensation perspective. I find so many times it's lower than what people think they're actually making. And that's pretty scary when LOs aren't understanding how much they're actually making per deal. So that's huge. And along with compensation is companies contributing toward the cost of building your team. So here, we cover a base salary for that one staff member per every 6 loans. And, we'll help with marketing and, different coaching and bonuses for staff and swag materials and all that kind of stuff, all these things you need to build your business. So your total compensation is not only just what you're making in basis points, but it's also what are you getting in additional revenue for these different things. So all of those components are super important from a total compensation perspective. And then technology. So technology, a lot of mortgage companies have pretty good technology. All the origination systems, reporting systems, solid websites, all of that kind of stuff is super important. Where I think technology is going and it's the most important now is through social media and building a strong social brand. So 70% of Americans are on social media now, and on average, the average American spends 2 hours and 20 minutes a day on social. So if we're not in the social media space, we are not in front of our clients and referral partners enough. And so it's not just for clients, but it's for developing referral partners as well. A big focus of mine this year is going after financial planners, CPAs, family law attorneys, and life insurance agents. All of these people work with clients who have some level of money, because you're not working with one of those professionals if you have no money. And a lot of those clients are going to be well qualified. And when you think about getting a referral from a financial advisor, this is the person who manages their finances. This is a person who they entrust to help them build wealth for retirement. So when they refer you as a loan officer, it is a very strong referral. That client is likely not going to be shopping you with other lenders. They're going to have that implicit trust built in because of the referral. So you're going to close those type of loans at those type of referrals at a much higher rate than you would any other referral source. Real estate agents are also a really good source for business still, and the number one pillar of business for loan officers. So having great relationships with real estate agents is key. Real estate agents are on social now. I think they do a better job of it than we do in our industry right now. Agents have really gone head into social, and so that's a space that we need to be. And then finally, being able to go direct to consumer. So here at our organization, we're able to set up a website where you can market home buyer seminars and use pixeling through Facebook, or now they call it Meta, like retargeting campaigns and ads to be able to drive traffic and teach a home buyer seminar or get direct in front of consumers before they've hooked up with a realtor. So those kind of opportunities with where technology is going and where people are spending their time are available for loan officers as well. But you've got to be plugged in with an organization who knows how to work that kind of stuff. And that's a space that, like, I think every LO needs to be focused on going into 2022 and especially the years ahead. Look at Rocket Mortgage, biggest mortgage lender in the country now, and they're all online advertising and direct to consumer. So we can do that same kind of thing, but we have to be plugged in with a group who understands how to do it and what the processes are. So high level, those are the 4 reasons LOs make a move. Any questions on that, or if you ever wanted to talk something like that through, I'm always happy to connect for a call. Shoot me a DM. Hope you're doing well. Talk to you later.